So the poll dates have been announced, and the Election Commission has also given a terse message as far as poll violence is concerned. Election Commission says won't tolerate poll violence. Let's listen in to what the CEC said.
जहां तक चुनावी प्रक्रिया का सवाल है, elections in India are held as per the Constitution, the law and the instructions. राजनीतिक हिंसा और चुनाव को प्रभावित करने वाले कोई भी इंड्यूसमेंट को चुनाव आयोग बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगा और ऐसे करने वालों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होगी.
Dev Kotak, my colleague, is joining us in the broadcast with more details, along with, of course, explaining the process, announcing the dates. The Election Commission also, in some ways, issuing warning or sending out a terse message that political violence ko bardasht nahi kiya jayega. It will not be tolerated.
Well, yes, absolutely, because the CEC, Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar, in his press conference while announcing the dates for the 4 states and the 1 union territory of Puducherry, clearly addressing to the West Bengal situation where violence during the polls is a common factor. He said that this year nothing of that sort will be witnessed because the CEC, along with all the police officials and several other State Department officials, are keeping around the clock vigil, including monitoring not just of violence but also the fact to ensure that there are no deep fakes or any kind of doctored videos that are circulated. Some of these instigating comments that are made on social media are also a real reason for violence taking place on the ground. So the CEC out there made it very clear that including the police officials who were involved in the previous incidents of poll violence in West Bengal when the elections were held last in 2021, this year they have sought a list of the tainted cops who were involved at that time, the SPs, the DSPs, so as to keep out a special eye and keep a vigil on them as well. So definitely the CEC out there and the ECI upping the ante and convincing the public and also telling the media out there that there will be no kind of violence that will be tolerated in the name of politics. And now the model code of conduct comes into effect starting this very minute. So you can really imagine that how tightened and stricter it will get, but only a matter of time until we see stricter implementation as well. This is something what CEC Gyanesh Kumar has also assured us of. So these are the kind of details that we have at this point in time. But before the West Bengal elections, 2 phases that are going to be conducted out there, he assured that the polls will be free from violence and be carried out very smoothly until the counting is carried out on the 4th of May and a government comes into place.
Absolutely. In fact, during the press conference after the announcement, the media personnel did ask the CEC about the opposition stand, the statements coming in against him. And of course, as we all know, TMC-led opposition moving a motion to remove the speaker in parliament.
Well, not just that. In fact, even since we are speaking specifically of West Bengal, we have seen that Mamata Banerjee herself was present here in New Delhi. She was present in the Supreme Court as well, talking about the SIR, the revisions that are being carried out. But however, the CEC remains, unfettered in a certain sense. He says that he is not going to be bowed down or cowering down to any kind of pressure because he has to act in a non-biased way. So he said that not just West Bengal but the other 3 states and 1 union territory also, the ECI delegation went on visiting, and along with other officials they also met the concerned functionaries of national level parties as well as the state level parties to try and understand their constraints and concerns and to try and incorporate all of those suggestions as much as possible before the elections are actually there.
All right.
So coming back to West Bengal again, like I said, that no tolerance for political violence is going to be a major factor.
Absolutely. There are a lot of incidents that are reported from West Bengal during elections of political violence. Thank you very much, Dev, for joining us on the broadcast with those details. I want to go back to Dr. Ranganathan, who earlier made a point about fear or change when it comes to West Bengal. There was a time when people gave a chance to TMC because they wanted to escape left. That's how TMC rose to power. And back then, interestingly, Mamata Banerjee had given the slogan of Poribortan.
Swati, couple of things. Number one, yes, while I appreciate, the EC and others talking about trying to stem the pre-poll violence, if I can use that, please remember that 5 years ago, what actually, transpired was post-poll violence, for which the people of Bengal, tens of thousands were displaced. Many of them still have not returned. Tens of thousands escaped, ran away, became refugees in other states, especially Assam. Nothing was done about it. So yes, while I appreciate the fact that the number of phases has been reduced to kind of stem the pre-poll violence, I hope some steps have been taken. They should have been announced if they were taken inside closed doors to stem what might transpire. That would be the post-poll violence, because if you remember, the fact that in Uttar Pradesh, when the BJP won a landslide, not a single instance of violence took place. Contrast that with when Mamata Di won a landslide or apparent landslide in Bengal 5 years ago, what happened? So this is something that the EC also, you cannot just, say that your responsibility is limited to holding free and fair elections. Yes. Thank you for that. But what happens after that, what happens on the result day, what will happen in the first week of May is also as much the responsibility, I would say, go on as far as to say constitutional responsibility, than just holding the elections. And please remember that as far as the panchayati elections are concerned, 5 years ago, as many as 20,000 panchayati seats went uncontested, unelected because of violence. So this is something that is almost, I'm sorry to use this word, a tradition in Bengal. Now, what I fear is, I hope the post-poll violence also doesn't become a tradition in Bengal.
So if there were to be a change in West Bengal, what do you think are the chances? I know you said that's $1 million question when it comes to West Bengal, but BJP has been able to expand its footprint.
Undoubtedly. I mean, if you know from the results that happened, 5 years ago, from 2 MLAs to 70 is an incredible jump. The people of Bengal are looking for a changed mandate because there are so many parameters that have happened. Unlike a lot of other states where you have 1 or 2 issues, in Bengal, there seems to be at least a multiplicity of issues. Not just the fact that you need to deliver on the promises. And if you remember, one of the slogans of BJP in the states that it has been winning, increasingly, Swati, in landslide, is this thing called double engine. Now that, in fact, sometimes transforms into triple engine, sometimes 4 engines as well. In Bengal, I think it makes sense because a lot of the schemes, welfare schemes of the center, are deliberately not implemented in antagonistic states, saying that, look, we have better schemes, let's not do that. And Bengal is one example of that. Tamil Nadu is another example of that. So the BJP is right in saying that if we have a double engine sarkar, we would give you all the benefits that people of other states are benefiting, especially the BJP ruled states. Now, yes, that is problematic in one sense because the voters may turn around and say, oh, so if I don't choose you as a state government, does that mean you will not, does that mean a single engine will not benefit me? Well, the fact is that depends on the state government as well. Via, for example, Ayushman Bharat scheme. You have the Vishwakarma scheme in Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Those central schemes that benefits people of India that are not benefiting the people of Tamil Nadu and, and Bengal and likewise a lot of other states. So that is an interesting parameter that needs to be looked at, especially Bengal.